Most people walk past wealth every single day without realizing it. They sweep it into drawers, they drop it into jars, they forget it inside old wallets, purses, and boxes. Loose change feels meaningless. 1 cent feels worthless. A penny feels invisible. But history does not care about face value. History cares about time, rarity, survival, and story. And that is exactly where the 1976 United States 1-cent penny with no mint mark enters the picture. To understand why this penny matters, you have to understand the year it was born. 1976 was not just another year in American history. It was the bicentennial. 200 years of independence. 200 years of struggle, growth, mistakes, victories, and identity. The entire nation was celebrating. Everything from stamps to currency reflected national pride, while special bicentennial designs were used on quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins. The penny quietly continued its production with the Lincoln Memorial design, and that quiet detail is what confuses most people. They assume the penny is ordinary, they assume it has no story, they assume it has no value. That assumption is where opportunity begins. A 1976 penny with no mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia was the primary mint for circulating coinage at the time. Millions of pennies were struck. But here is the truth most people never learn. Value does not come from how many coins were made, value comes from how many survived in exceptional condition. Coins are meant to be used, they are dropped, scratched, bent, exposed to moisture, exposed to heat, exposed to chemicals, exposed to time. A coin that survives decades without damage is already rare. Even if millions once existed, collectors do not pay for age alone, they pay for preservation. A 1976 penny with no mint mark that remains uncirculated, bright, sharply struck, and untouched is no longer common. It becomes scarce, and scarcity is where money starts to appear. Now let us talk about condition, because this is where most people misunderstand coin values. Condition is measured on a professional grading scale. This scale ranges from heavily worn to mint state perfection. A penny pulled from circulation is usually worn, the details are soft. Lincoln's face is flat, the lettering is weak, the surface shows scratches. That penny is worth 1 cent, but a 1976 penny with no mint mark that looks as if it just left the mint floor is a different story. Sharp details, full hairlines, clean fields, original copper. Luster. No cleaning. No polishing. No damage. That coin enters collector territory, and when professional grading services certify such a coin at high levels, collectors pay real money, hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands, depending on grade, strike quality, and I appeal. Now here is where the story becomes even more interesting. Some 1976 pennies were struck with errors. Errors are not mistakes in the casual sense, they are mechanical or process anomalies that escaped quality control, and collectors love errors. Double strikes. Off-center strikes, die cracks, die chips, weak strikes, planchet flaws, improper metal composition. These errors transform an ordinary penny into a unique artifact. No two error coins are exactly the same. That uniqueness creates demand, demand creates competition, competition creates high prices. A 1-cent coin becomes an auction item. People often ask how a penny can be worth so much. The answer is simple: collectors do not buy coins, they buy stories, they buy history, they buy survival, they buy uniqueness. Now consider this comparison: people spend over $100,000 on houses, they spend it on walls, furniture, and location. But collectors spend money on objects that fit in the palm of a hand. Why? Because objects like coins are permanent, they do not decay like buildings, they do not break like electronics. They do not fade like trends. A coin struck in 1976 can look identical in 2076 if preserved correctly. That permanence gives coins power. That is why serious collectors treat coins as long-term assets, not hobbies. And that is why the 1976 no mint mark penny continues to trend. Now let us address the biggest mistake people make: cleaning the coin. Cleaning destroys value, polishing removes original surfaces, chemical cleaning damages metal, scrubbing leaves microscopic scratches. To a collector, a cleaned coin is damaged, even if it looks shiny, even if it looks new, even if it looks attractive. Original condition always beats artificial shine. If you ever find a 1976 penny with no mint mark that looks unusual, rare, or exceptionally clean, the correct action is to leave it exactly as it is. Do not clean it. Do not rub it. Do not test it. Do not experiment, protect it, store it safely, have it evaluated by a professional. Now let us talk about psychology. Why does this topic attract millions of views online? Because it touches hope. People love the idea that something small can change everything. People love the idea that they already own something valuable. People love the idea of hidden wealth. Coins represent possibility. They represent the idea that knowledge can outperform luck. The people who profit from coins are not gamblers, they are observers, they are learners, they are patient, they look at details others ignore: the year, the mint mark, the edge, the strike, the weight, the sound, the surface. This is how collectors train their eyes, and once trained, they see value everywhere. That is why coin collecting has survived centuries. That is why auction houses thrive. That is why museums protect coins behind glass. Now let us bring the focus back to you. Somewhere in your home, there may be a jar, a drawer, a box, a wallet, a purse. Inside it may be pennies. Most of them are ordinary, but it only takes one exception to change the entire pile. A 1976 penny with no mint mark, high grade, uncirculated, or with a visible error. That single coin can be worth more than thousands of ordinary pennies combined. That is not fantasy, that is arithmetic of rarity. This is not about quitting jobs or becoming rich overnight. This is about awareness. Awareness turns objects into assets. Awareness turns curiosity into opportunity. The people who succeed in collecting are not the ones who rush, they are the ones who slow down, they look twice, they ask questions, they verify. And that mindset extends far beyond coins. It applies to business. To investing. To life. Before you dismiss something as worthless, ask why others might value it, because somewhere, someone is willing to pay a premium for what others ignore. The 1976 no mint mark penny is a perfect example. Small, silent, overlooked, yet powerful in the right hands. If this video made you stop and think, then it has done its job, because sometimes, wealth is not about earning more. It is about seeing more, and sometimes, the smallest coin carries the biggest lesson.